Hi friends, welcome to Dr. Varsha Gaitonde's channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about dust testing for maize. That means dust testing, the principles and norms which are meant for maize. As you know, maize is a cross-pollinated crop, and if we talk about dust testing is mainly meant for the varietal registration. Whenever we talk about hybrids, germplasm, or new varieties, new hybrids, or anything, for that to register and bring it under protection, dust testing is very much essential. So, let's talk about some of the basic things about maize. Taxonomically, maize belongs to tribe Maize, family Poaceae, genus Zea. The center of origin of maize is Mexico and Central America, and the chromosome number is 2n equal to 20, means 20 in diploid form. Maize is a monoecious plant, that means male and female reproductive parts are located on a single plant but at different locations. As you can see, the male reproductive portion is at the top of the plant and the female reproductive portion at the edges. Male inflorescence is called as tassel and female is known as silk. Generally, it is a protandrous plant. That means the male reproductive parts mature first as comparing to female reproductive part. Here, each floret contains 3 anthers and each plant produces 3 to 5 million pollen grains. That means the pollen producing capacity of cross-pollinated crops is very high as comparing to self-pollinated. Wind-borne nature of the pollen and protandry leads to cross-pollination, but there may also be reported 5% of self-pollination. Coming to dust test, what is it? The purpose I have already told you, but the basic definition is plant variety protection can only be granted in respect of a new plant variety after examination for the Union for Protection of Plant Variety Convention Acts laid down criteria like novelty, distinctness, uniformity, and stability, that is shortly called as NDUS. The purpose of it is essential requirement for registration of new variety under PPVFR Act. Whenever we talk about the dust testing or varietal registration, two institutes play a very key role. One is UPO guidelines and one is PPVFR guidelines. As you know, India is not a permanent member of UPO, it's an observer but follows many of the guidelines of UPO but not 100%. Okay, those guidelines or some of the extract is taken under PPV FR Act 2001. Dust testing is conducted maybe for farmers variety or breeders variety or any other varieties given by the institution which may prove new or distinct from the already existing varieties. And one more thing is essentially derived variety can also be brought under the varietal registration or new varietal registration because these are somewhat new varieties as comparing to the already existing varieties. So next question is how the dust testing is conducted. The test involves comparison of candidate variety against existing variety for recording a number of morphological or physiological characters by growing new and existing varieties side by side. Here candidate variety refers to the variety which is under test, means the new variety which in which we are interested in and we are comparing to already existing varieties. Coming to the assessment of dust test, the first character is distinctness. Okay, new is a first character, that means variety should be entirely new from the already existing variety, that is also called as novelty. Second character is distinctness. This is established by comparing the candidate variety with existing varieties or reference collections. Consistent differences or clear differences should be there between old and new one. If similarity state of expression is found, variety is not meant as distinct and that can be discarded. The third character is uniformity. 3% of population and an acceptance probability of at least 95% should be standard for uniformity. The size of the plant may be, or the population may be 100 plants, and only 3 off types are allowed. Off type means these are deviations from the uniformity, so only little amount of deviation is allowed and the rest of the things should be uniformly following. Same should apply to clear case in outcrossed plants, in inbred lines as well as in single cross hybrids. For visually assessed characters, uniformity of the candidate variety is checked against known comparable varieties. The fourth character and the last character is stability, which requires 2 to 3 years to perform a test of stability, which leads to the same certainty as the testing of distinctness and homogeneity. Submitted samples to be homogeneous during the test, the material can also be considered to be stable in case of double inbred and open pollinated varieties, which may be tested by growing a further generation or by testing a new seed stock. All observations on ear should be made on the upper well developed ear, and here Royal Horticulture Society color chart should be used to distinguish the characters, because if we take the anthocyanin pigmentation in case of maize, the pigmentation intensity may be different from one variety to the other. Let's come to the requirements for dust testing. Planting material, staff, facilities are the basic requirements. Planting material like the candidate variety. As have already told you, candidate variety is a variety which is under testing. Then reference collection. To compare the old variety with the candidate variety, the old varieties are known as reference collection. Means many of the varieties will be there which are having similar characters or belonging to the same species as candidate variety. Staff, scientific, technical, secretarial, field staff are required, and that should be well qualified. Facilities like land, garden, if essentially derived varieties are tested, or other characters apart from dust testing, laboratory conditions are also required, but as such for dust testing laboratory tests are not taken. Only 1 year testing in 2 locations is sufficient for normal dust testing for varietal registration. Then we need dust testing guidelines, dust testing centers list to send information to the test centers. Then laboratory with equipments, RHS color chart, as I have already told, it is very important to distinguish the different colors. Then database of extant or notified varieties. Database may be taken from NORV or IINDUS, that is Indus. Then software for data analysis. The software may be OS or Plod, Plan, Analyst 3.1 or Dustant. Coming to the dust testing centers for maize in India, there are 4 main centers for testing. One is Indian Institute of Maize Research, Ludhiana, which is for to test the Kharif maize. Then PJTSAU, which is in Hyderabad. This is both for Kharif and Rabi testing. Central Agriculture University, which is at Dholi. This is also for Kharif and Rabi. That means off-type season is also taken over in PJTSAU and Central Agriculture University Dholi. Then VPKS, that is Vivekananda Parvatiya Krishi Anusandhan Shala in Almora, which is in Uttarakhand. This is only for Kharif season. Coming to the planting material for dust testing. We are only talking about maize. Here the quantity of seed required is 3,000 grams for varieties and 100 hybrids and 1,500 for parental lines. If we talk about the seed standards, moisture and physical purity, the inbred lines and single cross hybrid should be 80% having germination capacity, and varieties and double cross hybrids 90% minimum germination capacity. 10 to 12% maximum moisture content, because more moisture content may lose or deteriorate the seeds, and it may even make the seeds to lose its viability also. Then physical purity is minimum 98%. Coming to the conduct of test, here the number of growing cycles should be fixed, test location, conditions favoring normal growth and expression. That means extreme weathers are not preferred under the if our maize crop, then observation should not be recorded on plants in border rows. Border rows are only to protect the main crop from spatial isolation. It's meant for special isolation. Okay, that means it avoids the contamination from foreign pollen. Additional test for special purpose may be established. The test plot designed for maize is the number of rows taken is number of lines, and single cross hybrid is 4, means 4 number of rows. For varieties and other hybrids, 8 number of rows are taken. Row length should be 6 meter. Row to row distance should be 75 centimeter minimum. Plant to plant distance 20 centimeter. Number of replications 3. If it can concentrate on the experimental designs, RCBD is the best method for this, and nowadays different other experimental designs are also taken, like alpha lattice design and all. Let's talk about some of the characteristic symbols using under the DUS chart. To assess the DUS, 1 to 9 scale is used as a purpose of electronic data processing. Certain legends are used here, like asterisk, then plus and S. Asterisk or star mark means it should be observed during every growing season or all varieties, including in the varietal descriptions, except when the state of expression of a processing characteristics show this inappropriate. Plus is a characteristic illustrated by explanation or drawing. Then S means possible segregation in three-way cross and double cross hybrids. Coming to the range of characters as per PPVFR Act, for different crops, different number of characters are taken. It depends on either the plant is self-pollinated, cross-pollinated, or often cross-pollinated, and the complexity in the biological nature or botanical characteristic features of that particular crop. So for maize, 31 DUS characters are studied in India, and it is 41 as per UPO guidelines. And the mandatory characters to study is 8. Coming to the decimal code for growth stage, 00 indicates dry seed, 12 indicates 2 leaves unfolded, 14 means 4 leaves unfolded, 51 inflorescence just visible, 61 beginning of anthesis, 65 is anthesis halfway, 71 means caryopsis watery ripe, 75 means medium milk, 85 soft dough, 92 caryopsis is hard, then 93 means caryopsis loosening daytime. To conduct this test, before we should take a technical questionnaire and note down the name of species, applicant's name, proposed denomination or breeder's reference, information on origin, maintenance and reproduction, type of material, state of expression for each of the grouping characteristics, then most similar varieties and the difference of candidate variety from these varieties, any additional information which can help to distinguish the variety, resistance to pest and disease, any special conditions required for examination of the variety, then any other useful information. This is a questionnaire. Technical questionnaire may be having certain characteristics already given. On that we should just tick which character is suitable or which character that particular plant is following. This is the technical question here. Coming to the individual characteristics, that means here onwards we shall study the individual DUS characters recommended for maize. The first character is leaf angle, the angle between leaf blade and stem on leaf just above the upper ear. Here you should remember that whenever we note down the characters, we take the first ear from the top side. The status may be narrow, may be less than 45 degrees Celsius, means here we are talking about the angle, and wide means more than 45 degree. Narrow is given score 1 and wide is given, that means more than 45 degree is given 9 score. The stage is 61, that is beginning of anthesis. As I have already given you the code chart here, 61 indicates beginning of anthesis. Assessment visual in a group. That means many plants are taken from a single line. Second character is leaf attitude, means the leaf blade attitude on leaf just above the upper ear. Just concentrate that the characteristics which are taken at the beginning of anthesis, we are concentrating on the leaf or the portion of upper cob. As you can see, maize may be having a single cob or multiple cobs, and whenever the case of multiple cobs, we should concentrate on the topmost cob because it used to be more vigorous as comparing to the other cobs. In this character here, straight and droopy characters are taken. Straight is given as score 1 and droopy as 9. Here also visually in groups character is taken. The third character is stem character, that is anthocyanin coloration on brace roots. Anthocyanin coloration requires specific features. Here heritability also plays an important role. More heritability is followed in maize for anthocyanin pigmentation. During the winter season, many of the plant leaves or the brace roots show anthocyanin pigmentation. That means also there is one assessment that the varieties which are having more resistant capacity to extreme winter characters, that will be having more anthocyanin pigmentation. So in slide you can see the second photograph as having more anthocyanin pigmentation on the brace roots. Brace roots means the aerial or above ground roots which helps in holding the plant or establishing the plant on the field or soil condition. So here the coloration on brace roots is considered as absent or present. If absent, it is given as score 1 and present means score 9. Here two stages are taken, 65 and 75. 65 is anthesis halfway and 75 is caryopsis watery ripe medium milk stage. Visually in single plant character is taken for assessment. Fourth character is time of anthesis. On middle third main axis, 50% of the plants in a single row are considered for this character. Here, four different status are taken, like very early, that is below 45 days, early 45 to 50 days, medium 50 to 55 days, and late more than 55 days. And the score given is for very early, it is 1. Example of such kind of variety is HKI 335. Early means 45 to 50 days. That is given score 3, and the example of this kind of variety is HKI 1025. For medium duration 50 to 55 days, score is 5, and example is HKI 323. Late variety is more than 55 days, score is 7, and HKI 1126 is a late variety. Here anthesis halfway is a stage for assessment, and visually in group characters are taken. The fifth character is tassel anthocyanin coloration at base of glume. Gloom, you know, whenever we take the tassel, gloom is a portion from where the male reproductive part emerges. Okay, gloom is a thing which covers the any reproductive portion. That means it protects from the external damage, or it gives the strength to that particular part. So that is considered as anthocyanin coloration on base of the gloom is considered as absence or presence. Absence means scored as 1, which is found in HKI 1344, and present means 9, HKI 161. These are the examples of different varieties which shows this kind of character. Okay, then stage is 65. 65 means, and this is halfway. This code numbers you should remember, so that whenever you will go to the field you can easily assess, and you can just note down the code number, so that after coming to the laboratory condition, or coming to your home, you can just decode that and get the exact information. Assessment visually in a single plant. The sixth characteristic feature is tassel anthocyanin coloration of glooms excluding base in middle third of the main axis. Okay, excluding third of the main axis means already we have taken this character. Okay, for anthocyanin coloration of glooms, again it is considered as absent and present. 1 is present, absent, and 9 is present. Example for absent, HKI 209, and present means CM 300 and HKI 161. Here also the stage is 65, that means, and this is halfway. VS is visually in a single plant. The seventh character is tassel anthocyanin coloration of anthers. Okay, anthers, as you know, this is a male reproductive part in maize. Here it is called as absence and present. Absent is 1 and present is called as 9. Example for absent of anthocyanin coloration on anthers is HKI 209, and present is CM 145 and HKI 161. The stage is again anthesis halfway. Assessment is visually in group. That means on a single plant we cannot take a decision for this particular character. Next character is tassel, that is diversity of spikelet in middle third of the main axis. This is scored as sparse and dense. Sparse is scored as 3 and dense as 7. For sparse character means the main branches and sub branches of a tassel will be very loose, and dense means the compact one having more amount of pollens. Okay, sparse example is HKI 1126 and dense HKI 288-2. Stage is again, and this is halfway, and visually in groups the characteristic is studied. The ninth character is angle between main axis and lateral branches on the tassel. In lower third of the tassel, the character is studied like normal and wide. Normal is the angle between main branch and sub branches is less than 45 degree. That means that is called as 1, and example is CM 145. Wide is scored as 9, and example is CM 140. Stage is again anthesis halfway. Assessment is visually in groups. The 10th character is attitude of lateral branches in lower third of tassel. It is scored as straight, curved, strongly curved. In the picture you can see straight. The first photograph shows straight tassel, second is somewhat curved tassel, and third is strongly curved. Curved means somewhat bent kind, where we can observe this character under sparse conditions. Okay, so for one character, the example of variety is HKI 193-1. Curved is given as score 5, and it is HKI 323 and HKI 46. Strongly curved is given as score 9, HKI 163. The stage is, and this is halfway. Again, in group these plants are studied. The 11th characteristic is time of silk emergence, that is 50% days to 50% silking. Again, it is characterized into 4 groups. Very early means less than 48 days, early 48 to 53 days, medium 53 to 58 days, and late more than 58 days. For very early, score 1 is given, early 3, medium 5, and late as 7. Example for very early character is HKI 335, early is HKI 1025, medium is HKI 323, and late variety is HKI 1126. Again, emphasis halfway is taken as a benchmark to observe the characters, and visually in group characters are studied. The 12th characteristic is anthocyanin coloration of silks. Here you can see in the photograph two different silks. Silk is the topmost portion of female reproductive part. As such, the whole portion is known as silk, but because of the silk appearance at the top, that portion is called as silk. Okay. So anthocyanin pigmentation may be absent or present. Absent is scored as 1 and present is scored as 9. For absent character, the variety example variety is HKI 1025 and present means HKI 323. Again, anthocyanin halfway character is suitable to study this character, and visually in a group the characteristic is studied. The 13th characteristic is anthocyanin coloration of leaf sheath below the ear. The leaf sheath which is holding the silk portion or female part, generally we call it as cob, there anthocyanin pigmentation is studied, may be absent or present. Absent is again given as score 1 and present as 9. Example for absent is HKI 163 and present is CM 300. Here the stage changes. Caryopsis watery ripe stage is taken to study this character. Again, single plant is taken to study this. The 14th characteristic is length of main axis above lowest side branch. This is the main axis. You can see the long and the middle one is the main axis. Here short, medium and long length is taken. Short is less than 20 centimeters scored as 3, medium is 20 to 30 centimeters scored as 5 and long is more than 30 centimeters scored as 7. Example for short is HKI 1128, medium is HKI 327, long is V25. The stage studied for this character is again Caryopsis watery ripe, and the assessment is measuring in single character. The 15th character is divided as 15-1 and 15-2. 15-1 is inbred line only. Here plant length taken up to flag leaf. Generally, when we take the plant height, we should not take up to the tip of the tassel, because that is not the length. Some tassel may be very long and some may be short, so up to the flag leaf we should take or measure the height of a particular plant. So here the height is again characterized as short, medium and long. Short plant is less than 120 centimeter, medium is 120 to 150 centimeter and long is more than 150 centimeter. Short is given as score 3, medium 5 and long 7. Example of short stature plant is HKI 1348-6-2, medium is HKI 323 and long HKI 1128. Second character, that is 15.2 characteristic, is hybrids and open pollinated varieties only. 15.1 was for inbred and 15.2 is for hybrid and OPVs. Here the plant length is categorized as 4 groups: short, medium, long and very long. Short is less than 150 centimeter, scored as 3, medium is 150 to 180 centimeters, scored as 5, long is 180 to 210 centimeters, scored as 7 and very long is more than 210 centimeters, scored as 9. For short, Vivek is an example, medium Prakash, long HQPM1 and very long is African tall, which is used for fodder purpose. Stages for inbreds: medium milk stage is taken, And for hybrids and OPVs, against the same character and measured under single plant character. The 16th characteristic is ear placement. Ear may be low at low, medium or high position. Low means scored as 3. Example is HKI 1011. Medium is scored as 5, HM4, and high is scored as 7, HQPM 1. Stage is medium milk stage. 17th characteristic is leaf, that is width of leaf blade on the upper ear of the leaf which is appearing on the upper ear is taken to study this character. Narrow, medium and broad are the three stages. Narrow is less than 8 centimeter, that is scored as 3, and example is HKI 323. Medium is 8 to 9 centimeter, which is scored as 5, and example is HKI 295. Broad is more than 9 centimeter, scored as 7, HKI 1126. Here medium milk stage is taken to study this character, and measuring a single characteristic is preferred here. The next characteristic is ear length without husk. This is after the harvesting stage, where the ear length is taken as short, medium and long. This scoring depends on the length of ear, like short means less than 10 centimeter, scored as 3, medium is 10 to 15 centimeters, scored as 5, and long is more than 15 centimeters, scored as 7. Example for short stature cob is HKI 536, medium is HKI 163, and long is HQPM 1. 19th characteristic is ear diameter without husk. We took length, now we are taking the diameter. Small is less than 4 centimeter, medium is 4 to 5 centimeter, and large is more than 5 centimeter. Small is scored as 3, medium as 5, and long as 7. For short, example is HKI 323, medium is HKI 327, and large is THQPM 1. The stage studies is caryopsis hard, that means after the physiological maturity of a plant, and measured in single cobs. 20th characteristic is ear shape. Ear shape may be conical, which is called as 1. Example is HKI 1344. Conical cylindrical, scored as 2. That example is HKI 295, and cylindrical is scored as 3. Example is HKI 1105. Here the stage is again caryopsis hard stage. Visually in group the characteristic is taken. 21st characteristic is number of rows of grains in a cob or ear. The scoring is few, means less than 8. Here you should always remember the number of rows of grains in a cob never be in odd number. It may be 8, 10, 12 like that. Few means less than 8, medium is 10 to 12, and large is more than 14. For few the score is given as 3, medium as 5, and large as 7. Example for medium number of rows of grains is HKI 163, and for large HM5. Caryopsis hard stage, and single cob is taken for measurement, and whenever we score this character, 3 cobs from different replications will be taken. Generally many cobs should be taken, but to make the work easy, 3 cobs can be taken. Take the number of rows count and just average and write down the observations. Next characteristic is ear type of grain in middle third of the ear. The character may be flint type, semi-flint type or dent type. Flint type is given as 1. Okay. Flint type is fully covered. Semi-flint means little bit uh, convex shape is observed, and dent shape means somewhat concave shape is observed. Sorry. For flint, the score is 1, semi-flint is 2, and dent is 3. For flint type, example is HKI 1105, semi-flint is HKI 1344, and dent is HM5. The caryopsis hard stage is taken to observe this character, that is visually in groups. 23rd character is color of top grain. Here the characteristics are divided into white with cap. White is given as score 1, white with cap as 2, yellow as 3, yellow with cap as 4, orange as 5, red as 6, and variegated as 7. For white cobs, example of the variety is CM300. White with cap HKI 1344, yellow is HKI 1050, yellow with cap is HKI 209, orange is HKI 323. The stage is caryopsis hard and visually in group. The characters are scored. Next character is anthocyanin coloration of glooms of cob. That means gloom is a inside rind of a particular cob. That means the rind which we generally throw. If we talk about the industrial processing, this rind may be used for getting the high quality of fuel, or it may also be used replaced in case of sawdust, but as such this is not essential for breeders. Even after powdering, it can also be used under field conditions in order to save the water or hold down the moisture content. Okay, so that rind anthocyanin coloration is scored here like white, light purple, and dark purple. White is scored as 1, light purple as 2, and dark purple as 3. Example for white color is HKI 163, light purple is SU1, and dark purple is HKI 161. Caryopsis loosening daytime is taken for this character, means after physiological maturity we will dry the cobs for a sufficient time in order to take out the seeds easily. Okay, so that after sufficient drying only this characteristic is studied. Visually in a group, characteristic can be studied. The 25th character is row arrangement. Row arrangement may be straight, given as score 1, and spiral for 2, and irregular as 3. Here the cobs you can see, first cob is very straight, then spiral is second one, and irregular. Irregular means there is no row arrangement. Straight is HM2, spiral is HM5, and irregular is HKI 1344. Stage is here again caryopsis loosening daytime stage, and visually in groups the characteristic is studied. Next character, that means 26 to 25 type of grains are studied. The field corn are taken as 1, popcorn as 2, waxy or opaque corn as 3, opaque tinge is 4, and sweet corn as 5. Okay, field corn example is CM128. Many of our maize inbreds or varieties already developed comes under this category. Those are field crops from which we take the atta or flour and prepare roti or whatever it may be. The basic ingredient of our textile as well as our not textile but other food industry. Popcorn is taken as 2, waxy or opaque. This is the main corn kind for textile industry for preparing the starch, which is scored as 3. Opaque tinge and sweet corn as score. Example for field corn is CM128, popcorn is VL popcorn, waxy opaque is Vivek hybrid 4, opaque tinge is Vivek hybrid 5, and sweet corn is Madhuri. Stage observed here is caryopsis hard, and assessment is visually in a group. 30th characteristic is kernel shape. Kernel shape may be shrunken. In case of sweet corn, if the harvesting and drying of the seeds is done, that means generally you will observe the shrunken kind of seeds in many of the field crops also, but this characteristic in field crops is very rarely observed. And Madhuri is a sweet corn variety. Shrunken characteristic is scored as 1. Second is round. Many of the field corns of flint kind are round one. Example is HKI 1342. Indented. Indented means Little toothed type, example is HM5 and this is scored as 3. Toothed is fourth type, okay, HKI 1348-6-2, and pointed is scored as 5, and pointed means the edges are quite sharp. In this fifth picture you can see the edges are like thorn, okay. Here stage is caryopsis loosening daytime stage, and visually in groups the characteristic is studied. 31st characteristic is 1000 kernel weight or taking the kernel size. We will first take the 1000 kernel weight, that is seed index. 100 seed weight is called as test weight and 1000 seed weight is called as seed index. Here when we talk about the seed size, very small seeds, that is less than 100 grams, then small 100 to 200 grams, medium 200 to 300 grams, and large means more than 300 grams, that is called as 1, 3, 5 and 7. You can see here the seed kernel size is directly related to the 1000 kernel weight, okay. The example for very small seed type is Madhuri, small is HKI 1025, medium is Prabhat and large is VHY 9. Caryopsis loosening daytime stage can be taken to study this character and measured in group. That means number of seeds are taken to study an individual character. Thank you. This covers all the characteristics of DUS, and whenever you go to the field in order to record the DUS characters in Maize, you just take this chart, or you can, before that you can just watch this video and go to the field so that the observations will be very easy. I hope the information furnished by me is helpful to you. If you like this video, please do not forget to like, comment, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you once again.